Deepika Prabhu from Coimbatore. How are you, sir?
Good, Deepika. Wonderful. Thanks a lot. Indeed, grateful to you and your husband.
So I've been given this task of introducing a person for whom no introduction is actually required. But what I would like to say is, sir, we are really thrilled and fascinated by this opportunity that we are going to listen to your powerful words this evening. So actually speaking, we are just among the millions of people who have been inspired by your powerful sessions and workshops. But the point, what I wanted to make here is, we from ITF are strong believers of your words, you can win. And more so your trademark words, winners don't do different things, they do things differently. So what we do different in ITF is, so as you're aware, ITF has been organizing lots of sessions from various experts and from success coaches like your good selves. But then as we all got restrained into our houses in these lockdown days, we thought what different we can do, how do we offer our sessions? And so we converted our seminars into webinars. So we've been offering this webinar series for the past few weeks on several topics to keep up the motivation levels and spirits of our entrepreneurs and their families. So thanks so much for being with us, sir. So it's a great opportunity and it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you, sir. And we feel that not just we, but this entire nation needs people like you to tide over these difficult times. Thank you once again, and over to Mr. Prabhu.
Once again, on behalf of all the members who joined today's session, warm welcome once again. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Indeed, I'm grateful to you and your wife, Deepika. Deepika, am I right? Is the name Deepika? That is your wife, Deepika, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. And I've always been an admirer of you, somebody who's doing a selfless service for no commercial reasons. You are putting so much of your time and effort into the association. Obviously, you are giving a lot because your time is worth a lot of money, but yet you are putting in so much, and I'm grateful that you're doing it. I admire you all the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Indeed, all the people who are right there, I welcome each one of them. But let us look at where we are heading today. Where are we and what is the Corona crisis created for us? It is visiting all cities everywhere. It is invading everywhere. Overcrowded hospitals. Medical supplies inadequate today. And at the same time, death rate climbing up. Factories are closing. Unemployment rate is high, joblessness is very high, orders are getting close, and literally the world has shaken up. Everybody's shaken up all the way, like it has never happened in the last, God knows what, at least in the last 70, 80 years or 100 years that I can think of, that I've seen. I'm 70 years old myself, but I have not seen anything like this before. But anyway, all of this has led to a crisis. In fact, the title of our program is Overcoming Challenges and Accelerating Success. How do we do that? Now, the challenges, we are very clear what is facing us, but I just want to bring a very important point, and that is a positive element to it, which says to fight this crisis. Prabhu, are you there? I can't see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I switched off my video.
Oh, okay. Can you leave it alone? Because I'd rather see you. I'd like to talk to you or somebody face that. Okay. You see, Prabhu, what has happened is that this has led literally for people who are positive thinkers like you and us. And that is that let us not overrate the crisis or the threat. We are overrating the crisis and the threat, and let us not underrate our strength to fight and overcome the crisis. Are you with me? This one sentence you will hear many times during my presentation. I repeat, let us not overrate the crisis and the threat that we are facing, and let us not underrate our strength to fight it and win. This is crucial. This is the foundation's point of starting the whole program that we are looking at, the entire thing. Now, so this crisis, many times adversity literally forces people to come up with solutions and bring out hidden talents which during prosperity years can stay dormant. It stays dormant and you don't get it. Now, all this has led to a lot of uncertainty and personal hardships. Everybody's going through uncertainty and hardship, which is making people insecure. And that insecurity is leading to what? Stress and anxiety. We're all under stress and anxiety. And keeping in mind, all stress is not bad. All stress is not bad because it literally pushes us to come up with solutions all the way. Stress we all can handle. But you see, what happens is when the stress becomes chronic, becomes too long, then the stress starts breaking us. Are you with me? See, we can all handle stress. That is not an issue. But when the stress becomes chronic for an extended long period, then we start breaking down, and that is where our biggest challenge is. Now, to just sum it up, what is the crisis? The crisis is literally for 3 points. One is our life. 2 is our livelihood. And 3, our lifestyle. I repeat, the first crisis is to our life. Second is to our livelihood. And third is to our lifestyle. These 3 are major impacted right here. Now, life is very clear. We don't know who out of us is going to be in the quarantine tomorrow. Nobody knows. None of us knows that. So there are multiple things here. And who we meet, where we go, and what we do could mean life and death for us. I repeat. You see, I'm not repeating for your benefit. I'm repeating myself here. It is so crucial that who we meet, what we do, where we go could mean life or death for us. It is so severe. Now, number 2, second is our livelihood. Everybody is concerned. Our incomes have stopped. Do you know, including the contractual things where people had passive income, they had signed contracts with even multinationals. And you understand legality. Do you realize that there is so many people who have actually invoked the force majeure clause? They said, force majeure says anything beyond us, act of God, we will stop your rent. So even people who are old age people who are waiting and who are living on their fixed income on rentals, even they have come under big pressure. So it is not only you and me. We realize where we are. So force majeure has come into play, which we never thought could ever do. But livelihood has become a big, big issue here to all of us. And I remember when in US, we had a pension and tax consulting practice. And when we did financial planning for our clients, we always used to tell them that, look, proper planning means must keep 6 months of your income, not expense, 6 months of your income as emergency fund where you can reach within 24 hours, no later than 48 hours. Because accidents and emergencies never inform in advance, they come and hit you. Are you with me? Are you with me, Prabhu? Are you with me? I can't hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%
Okay.
correct.
My point I'm trying to make is 6 months of a person's income ought to be an emergency fund where you should be able to access it within 24 hours, no later than 48 hours, because accidents and emergency do not give us advance notice.
Correct. Correct, sir.
And an additional 6 months of income should be kept as called opportunity fund. One is emergency fund, second is opportunity fund. This is what we used to do for our clients.
Okay.
High net worth people, everybody, it didn't matter. Now, opportunity fund, right now, it is too late for anybody to create. Going future, you can do it, but it is too late. What has happened in the past is beyond us. But this is where we start planning out as we go along. Those are basics of our planning to begin with. And livelihood has become a big, big, big issue to all of us because all our incomes have stopped. There is no income, including the fixed income from the rentals. Those people are getting hurt right now, and they have no other source. And interestingly, people who are like you and us, who go out and earn our living, and wage earners, people who get wages, they get paid to do their work. They stop working, the income stops.
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, has always been advisable to have a passive income. We talk of wealth creation, but passive income is equally important. When we don't work, money works, and money should get that income to us. Because sadly, many people are not prepared. And sadly, in the United States, you will be shocked. The saving level of people is very low. They have more debts. You see, the consumerism to all of us, we go buy things with credit card. We never realize what the hell are we paying?
Correct, sir.
So livelihood has become a big issue. So therefore, passive income was always advisable for people, or is advisable going forward to anybody for any contingency anywhere. Because when we stop working, money should work.
Correct.
Now, livelihood part, let us talk of the other aspect of livelihood. You see, today, our incomes have stopped globally, all, including the governments, by the way. Governments are not collecting taxes either. So it is not you and me, but the government is government because they can print more money. You and I can't print money.
Yes.
See, we have a major challenge. Now, my income has stopped, but my expenses, some of them, I cut them. I cut a lot of expenses, but there are some things I can't. Now, my employee, my staff, what do I do with them?
Yes.
You see, do you realize that the governments all over the world are actually sending circulars everywhere that this is time to cut? Yeah, you cut, but you can cut buying a shirt, buying this, buying that. You can cut all that stuff, but we can't cut food and medicine. Two things we can't cut.
Yes, sir.
Food and medicine we cannot cut.
Yes.
You see, telephone, electricity, and water we cannot cut. We need that. We can lessen it, but we can't cut.
True.
So therefore, the governments all over the world have sent circulars to businesses that, look, what do you do with your employee salaries now? You have choices. Terminate, retrench. That means a layoff permanently, gone. Number two. Second thing is give them a unpaid vacation. So they know there's a job when they come back. And when we talk of livelihood, are you aware, Prabhu, that in the last 4 weeks, 10 million people are on unemployment roll in the United States? In the last 1 week, 1 million people in Canada have gone unemployed. And by the way, it is estimated that 67 million jobs are at risk only in the United States, only in the US.
Okay, sir.
By the way, India is a different story. It is much worse. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
And I'm going to come back to the positive side, what we need to do. This is not doom and gloom, but we need to understand what are the challenges we are facing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you see, because 60% of India's working population is in the agriculture, which only produces 15% of your GDP.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a major issue. Now, we are looking at it. What is coming? Where are we going from here? So that is the kind of job drop that has taken place globally. And what is happening globally is much worse. We don't know that. So governments have come back and they said, now, what do? Terminate your employees and staff because you have no income, or give them a paid vacation or an unpaid vacation, or you, in India, I was talking to a banker and another accountant because I did a program yesterday and there were almost 3,500 people in the accounting. I said, what are you people doing? And he said, well, we are looking at working out salaries for the month of March, because after 20th, nobody has worked, because 20th was a lockdown.
Yes.
People have not come to work. So he said, what do we do here? He says, we have a cash flow crunch. We've not got money coming to us. So they've worked out, different people have worked out differently. They said, well, people earning less than 15,000 bucks, we gave them 100% salary, but people above 15,000, we gave them 50%. We don't know what to do. We don't have the cash flow.
Okay.
We gave them 50%. And then I said, what about the 10 days that they never came and they never worked? He said, well, that's leave encashment. You can do that. That is possibly of leave encashment. Now, we may or may not do it.
Yes.
Now, that is last month. But going forward, we are already 15 days in April. How many people have worked? Not many. And now the second question is, many people have said, work from home, work from home, work from home.
Yes, sir.
People, now I had a banker come here and I asked him, I said, banks are considered as essential services. Therefore, banks are operational, but they are working on skeleton staff.
Okay.
Okay. So they have encouraged all people to work from home. So I said, tell me, people working from home, how do you monitor them? How do you check out? What is the output? And you are looking to pay salary. The guy says, I'm working from home, but the output, where is the output? How much is the output? What are you getting out of it? So I said, how do you check this? He said, look, there are some things we can check. He says the 80-20 rule applies here.
Okay.
80-20 rule applies. He said 20% of the people who are responsible, they work without supervision. Maybe their output has gone up and they've done a good job. But 80% need supervision. You see, they don't have the discipline. And yet, if it is costing our pocket money, where do I have the money?
True.
How do I pay them? You see, 80% people, they are not that responsible. They cannot work independently. They got 50 interruptions, including the TV. They don't have the discipline.
Yes.
So he says, now, and I said, what about the next thing? He said, what we are doing here, we are encouraging, the things that you can monitor, the number of calls a person has made, they can check it out. The quality of call, they can check it out. Those are things they said, we can log it, check it out, and we do that. But yet, we still have to call and tell people, look, your target was this, you did less. Okay, sorry, I'll do it tomorrow. But I said, now tell me, what are you doing? He said, we are encouraging everybody to get on digital platform in the banks, including senior citizens. Senior citizens cannot come to the bank. They don't come to the bank and they don't know technology. They don't know computers. They used to do physical banking. He says, we've been calling them, talk to them, and including supporting them in any other way that they can get support. And they are so happy with us. He said, they're so happy with us that we never got a call from you guys before. And you are willing to even support us in other ways. If you need any other assistance, please let us know.
Okay.
Which nobody bothered.
Okay.
Now, I said, you are putting everybody on the digital platform. And obviously you are on skeleton staff and you're working that way. And tomorrow when the crisis is over, that means if you are able to work everybody on the digital platform, then that means all the people that were working there before, they were useless and waste.
Correct, sir.
Then you were overstaffed, that means. But you've changed the whole thing. Now, what will you do when all the crisis is over?
Okay.
You keep them. That's another question. Now, you see here this, Prabhu, why I'm bringing all this up here, because I bet you and I all are facing the same thing. Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, sadly, there are some people who are not mature enough. They think working from home is a paid vacation. It is not a paid vacation.
Correct.
But unfortunately, people don't realize that. Now, I'm coming back again to the livelihood issue, which the governments globally are addressing is, they're saying, what you do, how you do, let the entrepreneur decide which way he wants to take. Leave encashment, the job retrenchment, or salary cuts, whatever. Everybody has to take a little bite out of everything here.
Yes.
But, and see, their only one thing is, they said, we do not want the business to close. You know why? Because if the business closes, the job loss will become permanent.
Yes, sir.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir. 100%.
You see, they said, no, no, no. How you stay afloat, stay afloat. We don't want the business
To close.
close because that will be a permanent job loss. It'll be very difficult.
Correct, sir.
You see, today, livelihood part that we are talking, Prabhu, is nobody is looking at growth. Nobody is talking growth. Everybody is talking of damage control and rescue. How
Survival.
to rescue ourselves.
Yes, sir.
Right? And now, you see, coming back again to the livelihood part. Now, these are things that I also have people working in my office. I also have calls and they are talking to us. What about our salaries and so on? You see, these are things that as we talk to many people, I learned from many other people. And because none of us have all the answers, I don't have them anyway. I don't have the answers. None of us have the answers. But by sharing a little bit, possibly, it clarifies our little mind. And as we go along, we move forward.
Correct, sir.
Okay. And you see, the same scenario is true as an individual, as a business that you and I are doing, and governments also. By the way, I don't know if you're familiar that the governments, their incomes have stopped. They're not collecting any more taxes. Big drop in there. Now, government is government. They can print more money, you and I cannot. That is a big issue here. So livelihood has become a big issue to all of us. And if they print more money, inflation will kill us, all of us. And then what will be the impact on the exchange rate, on the dollar and rupee rate? Man, can you imagine what will happen at that point? So there are multiple implications, challenges that are likely to come and hit us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, but we must understand what the challenges could be. So let's see how well we can prepare as we go along. And the third challenge is lifestyle. One is life, second is livelihood, and third is lifestyle. You see, lifestyle for a lot of people have changed totally and drastically. Earlier, when we went to the zoo, we were outside and the animals in cages. Today, we are in the homes and animals are walking on the streets today. But what an interesting thing that has happened. But at that time, we see people were on the run. You see, nobody had time. We were running like mad.
Correct.
But all of a sudden, the brakes hit so badly that now we have time, all the time, but we don't know what to do. But you know something, sadly, this is where, when I said lifestyle addresses something emotionally which is within our family. There are emotional implications to it.
Yes, sir.
And most important thing is that, see, where the family ties were strong, they have become closer, the bonding is more. And where the emotional, there were people who are emotionally weak and their family ties were weak. This is time either to repair and bond. And if they don't do it, they'll break.
Correct, sir.
I remember very clearly when in the US, in our pension tax consulting practice, I and my wife, we worked together in our same office, probably just like you in your home and your wife. And we had a large number of clients. And then one of the clients came up into our office and says, "You work together?" I said, "Yeah." And the tone of voice was not the best. He says, "Don't you get on each other's nerves?" I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "You know something? We can't have enough of each other. I wish a day was 48 hours. We'd like to be together." You know something? This is really what we are talking. You see, earlier, what happened was we had speed. We all had speed before they locked down. We had speed. We were running, but we had lost direction.
Correct.
But now brings us back to thinking direction is more important than speed.
Perfect, sir.
Yeah. You see, look at this. Our lifestyle changes have taken place so drastically. You see, when we have the emotional issues that coming in, emotional issues are matter of priority because that is what is causing stress to all of us. See, people who are emotionally balanced, they can handle stress much better.
Correct.
So, you see, what has happened is, it is a matter of priorities. And look at this. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we've never had that many in history. Yet we don't have time. You know why? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. And we forgot to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Urgent may or may not be important, and important may or may not be urgent. But the interesting part is that whenever we overlook or neglect what is important, it always converts into urgent. Now, I'm going to come to solutions later. How do we cope with all this stuff? I'm just coming to that. But important thing is, when we ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. See, health is important. Exercising every day is important. But if I have a crucial meeting tonight, I cannot exercise. It's not the end of the world. But if I ignore and neglect my health long enough, I'll land up in the hospital. See, you ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. In life, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. But if you ignore relationships long enough, guess what happens? You start talking to your lawyers. And our lifestyle change has taken place very drastically today. And some maybe forever. For a guy like me who's illiterate in computers, by the way, this is the second program I'm doing on the webinar. I didn't know how to do these things. I learned SMS from my grandson the other day. I didn't know what the hell Zoom was till 1 week ago. I'm not kidding. And today I can open Zoom with tuk, tuk, tuk. I can open it. No, so now it tells me all of a sudden it opens something else for me. And now I can do it.
Yes, sir.
It has changed. It will change many things permanently on an ongoing basis. Maybe it has forced us to do it, but which I might not have done it at all. But coming to the lifestyle part is that stress is normal. Now we need to know how to cope with stress and what do we do. You see, I just want to share with you what happened during the Great Depression time.
Okay.
Prabhu, where are you? You gone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I lost you. Okay. You see, I just want to address what happened during the Great Depression.
Okay.
Because this is something very similar to that happening, because there is no growth GDP anywhere, and people are saying the minus growth will be globally anywhere between 1 to 8%, and that will be huge. And that will lead to recession and depression. You know what recession somebody defined very well as too many people chasing too little money. That is called a recession. That's it. Very simple.
Okay.
Now, we need to understand what happened during the Great Depression. You see, there was panic on the Wall Street. Banks failed. At that point, savings were lost. Everybody lost their savings badly. And this is another big thing that we are all looking at it. What will happen to our savings? How long will people like you and us sustain as we go along? Now, third thing is there were unemployment went up. 15 million people got unemployed during that depression, which was 1929-30. 15 million jobs got lost. Now, can you hear me? Prabhu, can you hear me? Prabhu, are you there? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now some line disconnected, sir. Now it is clear.
Okay. Now, you see, 15 million people lost jobs during that depression. Now, at that time, which is equivalent to losing 50 to 100 million jobs today, because Population at that time was much lower in US.
Yes, sir.
Now, but what is the silver lining? What happened during the depression? Now, this is where I'm coming to. What is the silver lining? See, one thing has come up is whenever unemployment has gone up, hear me carefully, whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has also gone up.
Oh, okay.
I repeat, whenever unemployment has gone up, self-employment has also gone up,
Okay.
which is good. Now, what happened during that period? There were some people who had no choice, but they had to start out at some point. There was a man by the name of George Jenkins. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
A
sir.
man by the name of George Jenkins. He opened up a little outlet store at an abandoned place because there was nobody using anyway. And he created a little shop with non-perishable durable goods. With only one thing, very little stock. He said, if I can't sell, at least I will be able to use it. My family will be able to use it. So let me start a little shop of non-perishable durable goods. That man started there. And he wanted to play it safe. And that man today has grown and gradually grown to having 1,000 outlets today in the United States. They're household words. And they do a turnover of $30 billion. They're worth $10 billion themselves. And the store's name is Publix Supermarket. Publix Supermarket. Check up anywhere. It is one of the massive stores in the US. Now, this is one example. Another guy in California, the two brothers, Gallo brothers, they started crushing grapes and they started making wine. But nobody would buy it. Nobody would buy it. Nobody had the money in depression. How was anybody? They sold 50% below market, 50% below market. Today, Gallo Winery is one of the biggest wineries in the United States. They're worth $10 billion. I'm sharing with you how some of these people came up during recession, depression time.
Yes,
Third
sir.
guy,
Yes.
a man by the name of Simplet. He had a little patch of land, and in Idaho started cultivating potatoes. And whatever he couldn't sell, they ate. They had no choice but to eat. But how much can you eat? But you see, when they couldn't eat all, their potatoes started rotting. You see, all of these people have gone through mess. What he did, he created the version of a freezer, which is today what is a freezer. And he was probably the brain behind it. And today, think about it, he supplies 33% of the United States of French fries requirement. 33%. The guy is worth $10 billion. Now, I'm not saying that you and I can do the same thing and have $10 billion and we'll come up with the same. What I'm saying is, look, we have to think beyond whatever we are doing right now. They've done it. We're not the first people in this world who've gone through crisis. They went through also. And by the way, they were not techies, they were not innovators, and they were not very well educated either. Hear this carefully. They were not educated people.
Correct, sir.
So we need to understand where are we coming from. Now, and you see, if to people like that, a name has been given called positive entrepreneurs or survivalist entrepreneur. They survive no matter what. They're called survivalist entrepreneurs. Now, this crisis is again going to impact us three more different ways. I said first, life, livelihood, and lifestyle. Now, I'm sharing with you three additional ways which it may be, and by the way, they are all related, interconnected. You see, life, livelihood, and lifestyle is all connected. You tell me one thing, if you have no livelihood, why do you need bloody life? You can't live. Tell me, if you have no livelihood, how can you live? You don't even need life. So we have to understand they are so deeply interconnected. Now, the impact is three different ways. One is physical, which is medical. Now, I'm not qualified for it. I'm not a medical doctor. And besides, there is enough information going around, including from the WHO, to do your basic hygiene as we go along. And it is so crucial today. And it has just helped us remind us what we learned in our home during childhood from our parents or teachers, that when you go out, wash your hands. When you come back, wash your hands. Before you eat food, wash your hands. You go to the bathroom, wash your hands. You come out of the bathroom, wash your hands. You touch currency, wash your hands. Wash your hands 20 times. And we forgot, I don't know if we gave the same values to our staff, our people, our kids, but somewhere we need to revive all these things, basic stuff. Okay, now coming back, the physical side is one side, which I'm not going to touch because I'm not qualified. The second part is economic part. Again, coming to the economics again, you see, we're looking at the current crisis cash flow and what is likely to happen in the future. Now, we have a moratorium of 90 days. Modi announced 90 days moratorium. Let me ask you, we've already gone through 20 days of the moratorium anyway, 15 days is gone. You have got 70, 75 days left. Let me ask you, 75 days later, on the 76th day, do you and I expect that every factory will come back and light up and everybody will be running and all the labor will be back on the 76th day? Man, if we are thinking that, we are nuts. We're foolish. It's not going to happen. This is only an estimate of this period, this window. Now, God knows, when I heard the Prime Minister of Singapore gave a tremendous speech, and he said, we don't know when this will finish. They've gone into the lock-in situation since yesterday. They went in yesterday because it has come back, spiked back. There's a second attack. Do you know right now, many people who were released from the hospitals with clear they have gone back because they had a relapse. So we don't know if there is going to be a relapse. We don't know. The numbers are horrendous. And again, I'm not getting into the doom and gloom. You see, the numbers, what we see overseas, and the numbers that are expected. You see, earlier even Trump denied the numbers. They said, oh, come on, it's a joke. We will continue our economy. But 2,000 people are dying per day. 500,000 people in the US have gotten positive tested. 500,000. But you know something? The testing that they are doing is phenomenal. And Germany is doing 500,000 tests a week. You know, here we're doing a few hundred a day or maybe 1,000 a day, no more. So when we have not done testing, how the hell do we know how many is coming? We don't know. The real numbers will be another 2, 3, 4 weeks from now when the whole thing is spreading out. We don't know. We just hope and pray to God that at least we should be sensible and do the right thing, preserve our families right. We need to preserve our family right at this point. That is the most important thing, uppermost than anything else. So economics, we don't know. The Prime Minister of Singapore said it could take till the end of the year. We don't know that. He doesn't know that either. And it might spill over to the next year. We don't know. Will it happen next 12 months or 24 months? We have no idea. And if in the cold weather, it comes back. In hot weather, it dies out. But we haven't had that kind of heat either, but it dies out. And then in the cold weather, if during the winters, if it comes back, then we are going to a second spike here. We don't know. Any of these things, these are all speculations, and I don't know if anybody has the answer. I don't think so. Nobody can give an answer to that. The only thing is, we can take precaution, whatever we can, both physically, economically, and psychologically. What we can do is what we should do, and that's about it. Preserve our family at this point. Right? Okay. Now, going further, see, one is physical, which I said. Second is economical, which is going to impact all of us. And the third is, it is a psychological, which again, I come back to the emotional side, which is again the most crucial part, because if we need to maintain sanity, and people who say, I have no stress at all, they belong into the lunatic asylum. They should go there in the madhouse. They don't understand. Stress, we all go through stress, and stress is not bad. We must be able to manage our stress, and that's about it, and nothing more. Now, let me share with you what are the coping mechanisms that we can think of, or what we can talk of. Yeah, let's talk of coping mechanism. There are multiple things of those, but I'm going to share with you only about possibly eight steps, only 8 steps.
Okay, sir.
Probably if you're jotting down, these 8 steps is what I'm looking at, what I would highly strongly recommend as a coping mechanism to it. Now, the first one, Prabhu, is the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. Now, this I came across about 45 years ago in the US, in Canada, Toronto initially. I sat through a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking. And he came up to the dais. There were close to 1,000 people in the audience. I was sitting there. And he asked everybody, all of you people are so cool, calm, and relaxed. It seems nobody has a problem. So he asked them, do you have any problem? How many people have problems? So everybody raised their hand. Who does not have a problem? We all have problems, of course. And then he said, how many people would like to get rid of their problems? Again, everybody raised their hand. We'd like to get rid of the problem. Then he said, on my way here to this congregation, I came across a place 2 blocks away from here where I saw there were some people all relaxed, totally stretched out. They had no problem. They were all relaxed, totally stretched out. They had no problem. How many people would like to know where that place is? And everybody raised their hand. And he said, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. There are people lying there, all relaxed, stretched out. They're stretched out, relaxed. They have no problem. How many people would like to get rid of the problem? Everybody put their hand in the pocket. Nobody raised their hand. Then what he said made a lot of sense. He said, problem is a sign of life. So long as we are alive, we will have problems. And the day we don't have problems, we'd be dead. And when we're running short of problems, that is the time to get on your knees, pray to God. If you stop trusting me, send me some problems. Danger coming. So, but there is a time, he said, we cannot solve all our problems, but we can handle them. And he gave a prayer, which for the last 45 years, I have been practicing. Every day, I have never come out of my room. I have always done my prayer first, and then I've come out. And this to prayer is the gist of life, the way I see it. It gave me so much strength to fight everywhere. And I've gone through a lot myself in life. And you know my academics, I'm a BCom third division, failed in my 10th. I mean, I started life with a bucket in my hand, started washing cars door to door. And you know my story anyway. Okay, now, here is the prayer that he gave. He said, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. Man, what a powerful thing. Let me repeat it and let me dissect it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Folks, there are some things that we just cannot change. I didn't choose my parents. I didn't decide where I was going to be born. We didn't create this crisis. We did not create this crisis. There are people who are born deformed. What wrong did they do? Who knows what? There are some things beyond. We cannot answer. We have no answers for them. Now, what I cannot change, let me accept graciously. Because many times we keep fighting the things that we cannot change and we bring stress into our lives.
100% correct, sir.
So if I cannot change, and this does not mean become complacent, I'll come to that. I cannot change, let me grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change graciously, not grudgingly. Because if we do it grudgingly, we bring stress into our lives. Okay. And if I can change, then give me the guts to do it. Folks, without guts and courage, nobody can survive. You are entrepreneurs. You cannot be entrepreneur without guts, man. You cannot be anything in this life. We cannot be a good parent in life without guts, courage. We have to fight. We have to fight. And if you are not willing to fight, well, get out. You cannot live in peace. You cannot live in peace. If we want to live in peace, we must have the guts to fight. Okay, now, give me the courage to overcome it and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change and courage to change the things I can and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. Now, when I wrote my book, You Can Win, or the new one, You Can Achieve More, I took this one step further. And I said, life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Seems like a contradiction, but not really. See, everything is not in my control. I didn't create this crisis. Now, as somebody said, well, in life, we cannot choose the cards that are dealt to us. What we can choose is how we play the game. And sometimes nature gives us a lemon. Choice is ours. Do we cry or make lemonade? Now we have a choice. What do we do with the lemon? And now, how is life full of choices? Folks, if I ill-treat you, I've chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? If I drink and drive, I've chosen to invite an accident, haven't I? Now, if I am unhygienic, if I'm careless and go out and mix up with the crowds who are all unhygienic, I've chosen to invite the virus, haven't I? Now keep in mind, we are all free to the point of choice. But after we make our choices, choice controls the chooser, we have no more choice. I repeat, we are only free to the point of choice, but after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser, we have no more choice. So what is success? You see, series of positive choices in life is called success. And series of negative choices in life is called failure. It is so simple. It is not that difficult. Now, many times even the press has asked me questions like this, that Mr. Khera, tell me, people who are successful, haven't they made mistakes? And people who have failed in life, haven't they done something positive in life? I said, yes. But you know something? People who have succeeded, they all have made mistakes. And people who have failed, they also have done something positive. But what brings success and failure is not doing something positive once in a while does not bring success. And doing a mistake once in a while does not make a person a failure. Repeating the same success principle brings success, and repeating the same mistake again and again is what brings failure. Once in a while, any of these things does not bring success or failure. But we have to learn from where we are coming from. So one is very clear. We need to reflect, look back, what I can change, what I cannot change, and let me take wise decisions in life. Let me take wise decisions in life and move forward to overcome this crisis. That is one. As part of my prayer, every day I close my eyes, I go through my prayer, and I thank God for what He has given to me so far. And I only say, if you understand Hindi, I said, thank God, my dignity and respect that you have given me so far, I'm grateful to you. And my only prayer is, till the day I'm on this earth, give me the same respect and dignity before I leave. That's all. I mean, that is my biggest prayer that I have. Number two, the second step on overcoming the crisis. You see, this is very healing. I'll share with you mentally, you are at a peace with yourself. Now, second part is, to overcome this crisis is stay away from news. Don't limit your exposure to news. Don't become a buff on the TV. Limit your exposure to news. There are some people who are addicts. They watch the TV 12 hours, they wake up and they want to see how many dead. And then they see the next check, how many dead, next check, how many dead, next check, how many dead. And they do 12, 13 hours a day. And evening they say, oh, so many dead, I'm depressed. And you know, when the depression comes into a person, the immunity goes down. And the chance of catching a virus has become higher. Then they say, the virus killed me. No, TV killed you, damn it. TV killed you. You see, and what they miss out on the TV, they do WhatsApp. They do 5 hours of WhatsApp. You see, all we need to do is, I check, and by the way, I'm not preaching here. I'm guilty myself. I am guilty. The first few days, I was watching the TV like you wouldn't believe. I was watching the TV. Then I said, what the hell am I doing? Am I nuts? Interestingly, don't limit your exposure to news, because news is very negative. It's going to pull you down. And two, watch it only 15 minutes. I watch it 15 minutes morning, 15 minutes in the evening. You are done with it. And that's it. You are done. And second is, the biggest danger that we are facing is, do not become a victim of misinformation, which is worse than the virus. You know what is misinformation? When Modi said the other day that you should have 9 minutes of evening lighting of the lamp, there were some people who were taking up professions with lighting lamps. And they were knocking on the thalis, say, hey, go, Corona go, Corona go, Corona go. And they're beating, and there are 100 people there, 50 people there. And he's telling them, man, shut up, stay home. This is the level of misinformation. Get your information from the right source. And don't become addicted to a television. Let me share with you a little example. A survey was conducted in the US, which is probably true in India too, that average American watches 3 to 4 hours of television per day. That's the average American. And by the way, that is probably true in the Indians also. If you and I look at it, we also watch 2-3 hours of TV in the evening, I guess. So somebody walked into a friend's home who had bought a new TV. Very impressive. And he said, how much did the TV cost? He said, $1,000, $1,000. He said, really? He said, yeah, you sure? He said, yeah, I'm sure. I paid money, $1,000. He said, how much do you make a year? He said, $100,000. He said, how many hours do you watch your TV? He said, 3 hours a day. He said, have you ever calculated $100,000 per year? What is your hourly rate on your per hour rate that you earn? He said, $50 an hour is your hourly rate, divided that. And he said, you watch 3 hours a day, $50 per hour. And if you watch 3 hours, 365 days, you watch 1,000 hours of TV per year, 1,000 hours of TV per year. You know, at the rate of $50 per hour, this TV is costing you $150 a year. $150,000 a year. Hello? That is more than your damn EMI on $1 million home. He said your TV did not cost you $1,000. You make $100,000. Your hourly rate gets translated to $50 an hour. You watch 3 hours a day, which could be productive time.
100% correct, sir.
This TV is cost you recurring cost is $150,000 per year. Do you understand the time value? Money value of your time. And sadly, there are people who are now, they're stuck on the TV. 90% people are watching TV, doing nothing. Instead of using it productively, check up, do something else. And I'll share with you what else to do. But this is true. How do you overcome it? You are creating more problems. Okay. Now, this is two. The third step that and many times, you know what people say? I'm sitting alone, I'm bored. I'm bored. And I learned one thing, only boring people are bored. Only boring people are bored. You know something? This is the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is the pleasure of being alone. Man, I'm alone. I'm with my family. I enjoy it. I like my company. I'm at peace. Man, what a great job. We need to understand what are we doing to ourselves. And this is where how to handle emotional stress. Now, don't get me wrong. There are shows on the TV I enjoy. I enjoy the food channel. I enjoy that. And once in a while, if there's a nice movie, which is sensible, which is not negative, watch that. It's fun. But that's about it. But don't become addict. Okay. Step three. Many people, to them, this stress has actually overpowered. I was talking to a medical doctor the other day. He said, Shiv, you can't even realize that how much this stress is bothering people. And some people are going into depression and so on. And let me share with you how to overcome this kind of a stress, which leads to all kinds of negative activity and depression in mind. A world famous psychiatrist was a man by the name of Dr. Carl Menninger. Dr. Carl Menninger. Even today, it is world famous Menninger Clinic on Psychiatry. World famous in the US. So somebody went to Dr. Carl Menninger and said, Dr. Menninger, if you knew for sure, guaranteed, a patient came to you and said, and you knew he was going to have an attack of depression, what prescription would you give him? They were thinking or hoping he would write some medication. And he said only one thing. Dr. Menninger said, if I knew that somebody was going to have an attack of depression coming up, I would only tell him one thing. Go to the other side of town. Find out somebody who's in trouble. Just help them and you will forget your depression. Just go to the other part of town. Find out somebody who's hurting. Just help him and your depression will go away. Now, something came back to me when I said physically, economically, and psychologically. Economically, I want to mention something more here. And that is, you see, the world is divided into 3 or 5 categories of people economically. One is the super rich. Adanis, Ambanis, and the Tatas. I mean, they have no problem. They have no problem. So money is not an issue. And some of the good people, they are using the money for good purposes. And those who are snakes, who want to sit on the treasure, they sit there anyway. And there are like that, people like that. But super rich doesn't have any issue here in this crisis. Now, the second level of people are the mediocre, the middle class, where probably guys like me would fall, or maybe you would fall, or somewhere we don't know. Some of us might fall. Within the middle class also, there's something called upper middle class who's got a big cushion. The second is the lower middle class, which doesn't have a cushion. And the third is the poor. They are the daily wages people, hourly wages people. They are the worst hit. And I feel really sorry that, you see, we are sitting doing this webinar and we are all paid up home, and God willing, we have a little balance to hold us going forward. But what about that poor guy who doesn't know? He works during the day, and whatever he used to get in the evening, he used to buy food at night. And what is he going to do? I'm going to come to that. I will come to that. I will address that, because that is also a responsibility that people like me and you have it. We must do something about it. You see, since I came to this point, I was doing a program in Singapore. And somebody asked me a question. He was himself a billionaire. He asked me, he said, Shiv, tell me, when people have made hundreds of millions of dollars, or they hit billions of dollars, why do they still keep working? Why do they still keep working to get more money? I said, there are two kinds of people. One who's made a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars and billions possibly. They keep making money to keep a score. And they keep comparing, well, how much does this guy have? He has 100 million. Ha, I got to beat him. I got to make 200 million. Oh, this guy has 200 million. I got to make 300 million. This guy's 300. I got to make 400 million. See, he is making his comparisons based on those issues. And you know something? Why is he making that comparison? Because he's measuring his self-worth by his net worth. He's suffering from inferiority complex. He goes higher than me, he's bigger than me. No. See, he's looking net worth with self-worth. Now, and that is a snake suffering from inferiority complex, will sit on his money right there, never do anything for society. That guy is a snake, in my opinion. I would not even want to invite them to my home, a billionaire like that. I mean, that's a bloody idiot. They're negative people. And they decimate negative energy all around. But there's a second kind of a billionaire who keeps working on to make more. You know why? Because they feel the more I make, the more I can serve, the more people I can help. Look at guys like Bill Gates. Net worth 33 billion, 32 billion he gave to charity. How do you like that?
Azim Premji.
Look at guys like Warren Buffett. The guy gave 34 some odd billion dollars into society. You see, this is where, Prabhu, what I say to association owners like yours, everybody, that it is a moral obligation of every good person to be a billionaire. You know why? Money in good hands always does good. Money in evil hands always does evil. So it is a moral obligation of every good human being. Become multi-millionaire and a billionaire. Megabucks, we should make it. And we need to do it. We need to find ways how to do it. Because we have to beat that evil. And you need money. And anybody who says money is not important, either they're stupid or they're billionaires. It's not the most important thing, but it's important. Okay, now let me come back to the fourth side, that is become proactive. You want to overcome this crisis, become a proactive person. See, folks, somebody asked a person, are you a good man? He said, yes, I'm good. And he said, what makes you good? He said, I don't do wrong, I don't do bad, I don't cheat, I don't steal, I don't tell lies. So the man said, no, you don't understand what's a good thing. What's meant by good? You see, not doing bad does not make a person good. You see, you don't tell lies, then you're not a liar. That doesn't make you good. You don't cheat, it means you're not a cheat, but that doesn't make you good. You don't steal, it means you're not a thief, but that does not make a person good. Go ask a medical doctor. Absence of ill health does not mean good health. Are you with me? Absence of ill health does not mean good health. Proactive means to be good, you must actively do good. Now, let me explain why am I saying this. And I addressed, as I said, 3,000-4,000 people yesterday. And I said, one thing I feel very, very strongly in my life, I have no compassion. Compassion is good, important. I have no compassion for the enemies of humanity. I have no compassion at all. Who are the enemies of humanity? The way the crisis is going on, there are people who are throwing stones and beating up the doctors. There are people who are spitting at the cops. There are people who are spitting at the doctors. They are, in my opinion, enemies of humanity. I have no compassion for them whatsoever. And that if a magnanimity leads to self-destruction, that is not magnanimity, that is stupidity. You feed a snake milk, they don't give you milk cakes, they'll only give you venom, that's it. I'll share with you this one little thing. I was addressing almost a few thousand people going back almost now, just about 8 months ago. Somebody came up to me and said, Mr. Khera, are you a Gandhian? Are you a Gandhian? Can you hear me? Prabhu, can you hear me? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
I said, tell me what are the criteria of being a Gandhian? Because I don't know what's a Gandhian. Tell me what makes a person a Gandhian and what are the criteria of being a Gandhian. So man thought a little bit. And he says there are 3 criterions. 1, Gandhi believed that with love you can win everybody in this world. That's the first criteria Gandhi believed. Number 2, Gandhi advocated and believed tolerance. You got to be tolerant, large-hearted. And 3rd, Gandhi believed in non-violence. He said these are the 3 pillars that Gandhi stood for. That's what makes a Gandhian. I've learned one thing. Many times, the best answer to a question is a question. So I asked him, you heard our epics, our Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gitas. And I asked him, I've not read the Ramayans, but I've heard the Ramayans enough, and you have. So I asked him, was Rama Gandhian? Think about it. Was Rama Gandhian? The 3 criteria that you just said, that you can win everybody in this world with love. Was Ram able to win everybody with love? Hello? Was he able to do it? Answer is no. So I said Ram failed the first test. Second, you said tolerance was Gandhian's philosophy. Did Ram say You kidnap my wife. It's okay. I'm very tolerant. I'll get another one. And you'll take that one, I'll get another one. You take that one, I'll get another one. Did he say that? He said, no, I cannot tolerate nonsense. I cannot tolerate you taking my wife kidnapping this way. So Ram failed the second test. Hello? Prabhu, are you with me? Ram failed the second test.
Yes.
And third, you said Gandhi's philosophy was non-violence. Tell me, what did Ram have to do? Did he have to pick up the weapon? Did he not? Do you call that violence? I said, no. That is violence, but that is self-defense. And that violence is good. If you don't stand up for the dignity of your family and respect, you are a coward. He did pick up the weapon. So Ram failed all the tests. So Ram was not a Gandhian. And I said, same thing was depicted by the Sikh Guru, the 10th Sikh Guru had to pick up, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib had to pick up the weapons. That he was not a Gandhian either. And I said, I'm not a Gandhian either. I am not a Gandhian. And why I bring this up to you, Prabhu, is that you are a pivotal person. You are a quarterback in your association. All of us, you see, you and I cannot eventually lead our life running these seminars and doing all these things. You see, people who are listening to this seminar, you know something, after 24 hours and 48 hours, they will only remember less than 3%. 97% would be forgotten. You tell me, what good is it? Are we going to keep doing all this for the rest of our lives? No. We have to. In fact, that is the same thing I shared with the guy yesterday. We have to form a mastermind group of like-minded people who have character and the bloody guts to get moving. We have to get moving. We have to create a mastermind group, and we have to move and shake things. We can't just keep talking on these webinars. It has to translate into action somewhere. And that mastermind group, we don't need more than 5-6 people, by the way. Beyond, it's too much. And we must meet once every 2 months. At least one. And that meeting every 2 months must take place no matter what. Even if I have a crisis elsewhere, I'm getting 20 lakhs for my one-day seminar, I will refuse it, but that day cannot be compromised. That means we have to be there. So I'm looking now to create that kind of a mastermind group, and we must do it and eventually move on and go forward, because too much talk has gone through. We can't go on like
Perfect, sir. Agree with you, sir. Agree, sir.
I mean, what are we leaving for our kids? So therefore, I have no compassion for enemies of humanity. Keep that in mind. I have no compassion. Okay, then the fifth factor that we can overcome, help us to overcome the stress, is we need to build high self-esteem. We need to build high self-esteem. Lack of self-esteem is what causes stress, and it causes emotional disturbance to us. Now, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the way we feel about ourselves. When we feel good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better. Reverse is true also. Now, self-esteem, high self-esteem, is driven by self-acceptance. I repeat, the driver to high self-esteem is self-acceptance. And now let me explain to you what is self-acceptance, which leads us to become internally driven, not externally driven. What does that mean? Self-acceptance says, I accept myself the way I am, with my pluses and minuses. And I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. I realize that. Now, when I say I accept myself with my pluses and minuses, it does not mean arrogance. It does not mean complacence. It does not mean that's the way I am, take it or leave it. It does not mean I'm not willing to change. But it says, self-acceptance says, I came to this world, I don't know how, it's a mystery. I don't know how I came here, but I'm here. And I'm here to stay. I'm not going anywhere. And I realize I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm not proud of my mistakes. I apologize for my mistakes. I seek forgiveness for my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I will not repeat my mistakes, but I am not a mistake. Means I accept myself as a creation of God. God created me. I'm not perfect. I realize it. But I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay. I realize it is the epitome of humility. It is not arrogance. It is the epitome. It says, I'm not perfect. I know that. I make mistakes. I made mistakes. I apologize. I seek forgiveness for my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I'm not proud of my mistakes. I will not repeat my mistakes, but I am not a mistake. Means I accept myself as a creation of God. I'm here. But you see, this is self-acceptance. And which is what you see, people who accept themselves with pluses and minuses the way they are, they're at peace with themselves. They don't have to prove anything to anybody. They don't have to prove anything to anyone. You see, whereas low self-esteem is driven by inadequacy, void a gap. They always feel void a gap, inadequate. I'm inadequate. I have to prove something. They feel good when you feel bad. They feel superior when you feel inferior. They put on a false mask. They compare themselves with the whole world. They have this much, I don't. They have 3 cars, I have 2 cars. Why do I have this? You see, this is what happens. They don't want to lift themselves up, but they want to pull others down. They are inadequate. They have to prove the world something. They can't accept. You see, this was learned from Charlie Chaplin. I mentioned in my book, Charlie Chaplin once was traveling through Europe. And he saw a big hoarding. There was a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. Out of sheer inquisitiveness, he said, well, let me participate. So he went in and participated without disclosing his true identity. And guess what? He lost. He came number 7. And the fake Charlie Chaplin came first. Then this guy started thinking. By the way, this is given through the net, in memoir. See, he started thinking, the real one loses, the fake one wins. Should I disclose my identity? Should I tell them who's the real one here? Then he said, no. Why do I need to tell anybody? He said, I don't need to tell anybody anything here. I know who I am. I know my identity. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. You know something? When we do a 3-day program, we spend 4 hours on a 3-day leadership program on self-esteem. 4 hours. It is so crucial. Only self-esteem. And this is the crux everywhere. 5,000% problems in offices, homes, everywhere in society. They're all self-esteem issues. Now this guy on the street, why is he throwing stones at the doctors? Why is he spitting at the people? He says, I don't care. I will prove you how smart I am. Why do you need to do that? They're either behaving indifferent. I don't care. Well, people with high self-esteem do care. Okay, then move on further. Next part is, you want to overcome this crisis, reskill yourself, upskill yourself. Let me share with you two things. Singapore government has had a lockdown yesterday for 1 month. And they had one little, I think probably some time ago, and they said this is downtime. This is downtime. When there's uptime, we don't have time to reskill ourselves, upgrade ourselves. We don't have time. Now we have time. We don't know what else to do. This is the time, downtime, to upskill, reskill, upskill, reskill, upskill, reskill. Because when we upskill ourselves during this downtime, when things turn around, we'll be prepared and there will be no gestation period. Their recovery will be much faster. There will be no gestation period. You know something, Prabhu, the saddest part is in a person's life is when opportunity knocks and we are not prepared. That is a sad part. He says, this is time to prepare. And opportunity knocks on everybody's door. But when we are not prepared, we let it go. We can't take advantage of it. I repeat, the saddest part of a person's life is, well, when opportunity knocks and they are not prepared. This is the time to reskill, upskill, reskill, upskill, reskill, upskill. And how do we do it? Besides through the seminars like this that we're doing. But in my book, I think you have it, that You Can Achieve More. If you read it, I have mentioned in there that about 85% of millionaires and billionaires today in the world are first generation. First, 85%. Only 15% coming from inheritance. And there was a survey conducted, and I've mentioned the source of it, survey. These people were asked that, you people, how did you become multimillionaires and billionaires in a short period of time? And they said, we read books. And they asked, how many books do you read? Guess what their answer was? We read close to 50 books a year. 50 books a year means 1 book a week. And imagine a person who's a multimillionaire and a billionaire. Obviously, he's doing multiple things. He's got many businesses running, but he still has time for 1 book a week. And then, but the person who's unemployed and who's busy all day doing nothing, whatever, little bit, at the end of the day, they say, I have no time. This billionaire is running 10 billion. He still has time to read 1 book a week. 1 book a week. And they were asked, what kind of books do you read? And guess what the answer was? The answer was, we only read self-help books. We do not read fiction at all. We only read self-help books. We do not read fiction at all. And they were asked, why is that? He said, one good idea from a self-help book is worth millions of dollars to me. I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to waste. And I mentioned in this book that people who are serious in moving up the ladder in life for success. See, we are talking of how do you accelerate success? They are avid readers of books. And they don't exchange books. They don't lend books. They don't borrow books. Share with you why. Many times people have said to me, Mr. Khera, I read a great book, I'll lend it to you. I said, no, don't lend it to me. Give it to me, gift it to me, sell it to me. Don't lend it to me. Why? Because I will not give it back to you. Because when I read a book, I underline, highlight, make notes on the side. And I've learned one thing. Reading a good book once is not good enough. I repeat, reading a good book once is not good enough. And when I go back into the book, you think I have time to read the whole book again? No, I'll read all those things that I marked there. That's it. So I do not borrow books or lend books. That is the last thing. Those are not serious players in life. They play games. And let me share, I used to at one time read 30, 40 books a year. Then I dropped this habit. But I still watch 1-2 hours of positive videos, audios, tapes every day. 2 hours a day, I watch positive videos, audios somewhere. But then the other day when this lockdown took place, I also watched the TV for 12 hours. Then I said, man, what's the matter with me? I'm a consultant. I tell others not to do. I'm doing the same thing wrong. Here. See, consultants develop their own blind spot. I said, I'm doing the same wrong, making a mistake here. So I said, I got to stop it. I went into my office, started cleaning up. As I started cleaning up, I picked up so many books. I'm in UK. You have to come and see my place. I got almost maybe 150,000 books here. And there were some books I had only read half of them. I started pulling them out. And that night, after 2 days of watching TV, I stopped. I didn't turn that on. And I read the book until morning 6 o'clock. I was reading a book. And I said, man, it is refreshing. Now, sleeping at 6 o'clock, I can't get up. I was sleeping till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, that's fine. But my time was well invested. I didn't waste time watching TV. Folks, the only way to upskill, reskill is to feed our mind on a daily basis. Otherwise, we all slip back. You see, we need to recharge our willpower. Willpower is like a battery. Use it, it drains out. Use it, it drains out. And you need to recharge. See, what happens is, when we are sick, physically unwell, what happens to our willpower? Goes down. The kind of decisions we make at that time when we are unwell, we will probably never make when we are well. Your willpower is higher. So we need to recharge our willpower. That is the only way you stay on track. Many people ask me, do you also get demotivated? I say, yes. And they ask me, what do you do at that time? I said, read my book, you can win. What else? I mean, I just read it. I'm not kidding. I pick up my book and on my way, I pick them up. Amazing. And it has taken me so long. And there are many other good books. So we need to upgrade our skills. This is the time to do it. And the next step, number 7, is, folks, stay away from blind faith leading to superstition. I repeat, stay away from blind faith leading to superstition. I'll share with you. If you see the television channels, every time you open up, you see what? Horoscope. The guy is pulling horoscope. And there are so many sadhus, fakes giving preaching, and they talk to you, do this, do that, and you know what they say? This is going to be talking about life after death, life after death, life after death. No. What I am talking is life before death. Are you with me? I am talking of life before death. Okay, my point is that if you look at life histories of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Dayanand, Guru Nanak, they stayed away from superstition. Faith is good. Blind faith leading to superstition is weakening. It'll destroy you. The other night, I was on when they did the 9-minute thing, when Modi asked them, I had a TV interview at that point. They asked me, what do you think about the 9-minute? I said, I support Modi Because this is showing positive energy. It is showing solidarity. He is our captain. I 5,000 support him. But if it is talking about astrological things, well, I personally don't believe in it. I'll share with you what happened on the TV the other day. You notice all Sikh weddings, they all Sikh people, they never tally horoscopes. All Sikh weddings are done on a Sunday. It doesn't suit them, they do it on a Saturday, and they never tally anything. Never done any of these things. And interestingly, I turned the TV on the other day, and there was a couple who was asking a question to this so-called knowledgeable sadhu guy, and they said, we have one daughter, this is our problem, this is our problem. Then he did the tick, 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 and he says, this guy is here, this another guy is here, this other guy is here, your pitri dosh, putri dosh, patni dosh, all kinds of things he brought up. And they said, Upai, what is the way out? Then he said, have a son. Have a son. Now, that will take care of some of these things here. They said, no, we can't have it right this minute, some other. Okay, he said, then a kutta palo, then get a dog. Then he says, get a dog. Prabhu, are you with me? Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes.
He says, you can't have a son, then have a dog. Kutta palo kar. I mean, this is so ridiculous. And let me share with you, there was an article that came out in India today, that today, North India, it's less, South India is a lot more. And especially they quoted Bangalore, Hyderabad, Madras in that area. He said, do you know in that area, 70 to 80% of childbirths are all C-section operation. 70 to 80%. You know why? Because some astrologer said, this is the time. What are we doing? I mean, this is all weakening. When things go wrong, we never analyze, we never learn from our mistakes, and we blame the stars, and we keep repeating the same mistake again and again. Because I'm not responsible, star did it. I never did it. So I never learned from it. Look, I respect faith. Blind faith, I don't understand, superstition. And there are multiple things more, which I can share with you many examples of Guru Nanak's life. But there's enough time I've already covered. And lastly, that this is one more thing, very important. If you take this home and tell people, man, we are responsible for our action and decisions. Let us move on with it. We are not helpless or hopeless. We have to look at the positive. Stop blaming the stars. And lastly, this is time to give back. Aren't we our brother's keepers? The guy who's a daily wage earner, my heart goes painful for that person. This is time to give back in life. And even if we don't have enough, we still have more. We have a lot more. We can still share. And this is where I have learned a lot from the Sikh community. You see, look at all over the world, whenever there's a crisis anywhere, the Sikh community has come up and set up langars. Do you know the peacetime, I could be standing corrected on the numbers, during peacetime, all over the world, probably they were feeding 500,000 people per day. And they said to the government here in Delhi and the central government, we will feed 200,000 250,000 people per day. Twice if you want. You have 500,000, we'll do it. And no time limit. Do as long as you want. How do you like that? This is the Sikh community. They are caring people. And they're also daring people. They have the bloody guts to do it. They're caring and they are daring. They're the ones who fought against the Mughals, Aurangzeb, picked up the sword and said, we will not let you down, let you do all this. They're caring and daring. It is time to give back to society. And I'll close with a final story. And that is, There was a wealthy man, very wealthy man by the name of Lafayette in France. And drought came in and people were starving on the street. And this guy had warehouses full of grains. And his advisory team said to Mr. Lafayette, look, there's tremendous shortage. You can. And this is food grains essentials. People will sell anything to get your food grain. You can multiply your money 10 times. You know what his answer was? He says, this is not time to make money. This is time to open up your warehouses, give it for free to everybody. This is time to give it. You see, when they were making money, I was making money also. They were making money, I was making money. No. Today, they are starving. This is not time for me to make money on them. You see, their misery does not mean my fortune. This is not way. An honorable person does not make money that way. This is time to give back. So I don't know. I've already gone. I don't realize how much time I've gone. My God. I've gone almost 1 hour, 40 minutes. Prabhu, I don't know. I get carried away. Sometimes they have to physically carry me out.
It's our luck, sir.
So I'll close it. All I can say is you people are a bunch of good people up there. I'm grateful to all of you. What you have given me is probably a lot more than probably I might have given it to you. Is you have given me your time. This time is more precious than money. And you gave it because you trusted me. And I feel I'm grateful to all of you that you gave that trust to me. Because you ask people what is the greatest thing in the world, and they'll tell you love is the greatest thing in the world. But the way I see it, trust in many ways is a much greater compliment than love. Because there are people we love, but we cannot trust. So I'm so grateful to God with folded hands. I want to thank all of you